We all remember the horrible tragedy of 9/11. I was teaching in staff devotions from John 11 that morning, the raising of Lazarus. One of the watch room operators, Yvonne, ran into our conference room and shouted, "Turn on the television, we're under attack." Well, friends, it was a despicable act of radical Islam. What motivated those 19 men? They were trying to have assurance, an absolute guarantee that they were going to heaven, a heaven of virgins with rose-petal lips, lying in beds of silk sheets. What absolute insanity. Murdering thousands of people so that they can have an orgy. Sadly, the same insanity is driving Hamas, dearly loved and respected even by some in the Western world. Hard to believe, but it is true. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wants to exterminate them, but the Biden administration and thousands of Americans who support that administration want to legitimize them and create a Palestinian state. There never was a distinct Palestinian people with a distinct Palestinian history going back thousands of years and no archaeological artifacts to even suggest that there were a people with a unique identity living in Gaza or anywhere else on planet Earth called Palestinian. They have no ancient history, but they are trying to efface, deface, and obliterate Israeli history, as they are doing so right now, destroying the rich Jewish archaeology in the area of Mount Ebal. Initially, President Biden looked like he was in complete control of his wits and on the right side of history, and it looked like our upside-down president was standing right side up. On October 18th, our president went to Israel and met with Prime Minister Netanyahu. Biden said, and I quote him, "Israel must again be a safe place for the Jewish people. And I promise you, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that it will happen." It sounded so good. At last, our upside-down president sounded like he was now right side up. It did not take long, however, for the Biden administration to completely abandon Israel and reverse its original views. Mr. Biden is now again upside down. The reversal began with U.S. demands on Israel to scale down military operations. Actually, military operations were already scaled down beyond that of any military in the history of urban warfare. It was scaled down so far that even Israeli soldiers were in increased danger. John Spencer, a leading expert in urban warfare who is chair of urban warfare studies of the Modern War Institute at the United States Military Academy, West Point, pointed to the amazing restraint of the Israeli military. He said the IDF consistently employed their practice of calling and texting ahead of an airstrike, as well as roof knocking when they dropped small munitions on the roof of a building, notifying everyone to evacuate a building before an airstrike. It is absolutely unbelievable to me that so many in the West are supporting Hamas. In London, Big Ben featured the words "from the river to the sea." This is the chant that pro-Palestinian protesters have been chanting in support of Hamas. When some citizens complained, the police said, "This is not a criminal issue. It expresses intense sentiments on the part of the Palestinians." We need to remember something important. Radical Islam is the driving force pushing Hamas in their bloodthirsty hatred of Jews. Israel is facing the same murderous ideology that fueled the 9/11 tragedy. Joe Rosenberg, in his book, Inside the Revolution, How the Followers of Jihad, Jefferson, and Jesus Are Battling to Dominate the Middle East and Transform the World, helps us to see that Islam is a religion of works. What kind of works? Works that destroy Jews and Christians. In his recruitment of young Muslims, Osama bin Laden focused on certain verses from the Quran. Let me read them. Surah 4:52. Jews and Christians are the ones God has cursed, and he whom God excludes from his mercy, you shall never find one to help and save him. Surah 5:43. Those who fight against God and his messenger shall either be executed or crucified, have their hands and feet cut off alternately or be banished from the land. Surah 66:9, O prophet, strive hard against unbelievers and the hypocrites, and be stern against them. Their final refuge is hell. Bin Laden also used some other Islamic material in recruiting young men, pictures of heaven where beautiful virgins are to be found everywhere, and there are gardens of fruit and wine. And of course, all of these Muslim terrorists can't wait to get to their heaven. They don't want to miss it. It's a delightful paradise with pretty virgins on sheets of silk and gardens of fresh fruit. However, they can't be sure that they will make it to paradise. Why is that? Because their deity has a pair of scales that will weigh a Muslim's good deeds against his bad deeds. The scales of justice determine who will spend eternity in paradise and who will be cast into the fires of hell. Isn't that frustrating? Paradise is so wonderful, but they can't be sure that they will be worthy of paradise. Their bad deeds may outweigh their good deeds. Is there an answer, a solution to their fears of not being good enough to merit paradise? Well, yes, there is an answer. Here it is: die as a martyr. Blow yourself up in a bus filled with Jews. Fly a passenger jet into a huge building and kill thousands of infidels. Then you will tip the scales of justice in your favor. In 1996, bin Laden told his followers in his formal declaration of war against the United States, quote, "A martyr's privilege are guaranteed by God, forgiveness with the first gush of his blood. He will be shown his seat in paradise. He will be decorated with the jewels of belief, married off to beautiful ones, assured of security in the day of judgment, and wedded to 72 of the 72 pure virgin women of paradise," close quotes. The 19 men who died on 9/11 were seeking assurance of paradise. More than 3,000 people died that day because some young men were trying to get a guarantee from their deity that they will live forever in paradise. There is nothing good or commendable about Hamas. Only the deceived will support them.